quick to fall, too fast to push away, away. I miss the warmth of your touch and your embrace. No one ever made me feel so safe, so safe. Slow down, don't forget me now. I don't wanna fade out of your memory, your memory. Hold up, I know I have my doubts, but I want to fade back into your memory, your memory, your memory. I always seem to take the wrong turn, repeating history. When will I learn? I learn. I miss the way that you smile when you look at me. No one ever made me feel so free, so free. Slow down, don't forget me now. I don't wanna fade out of your memory, your memory. Hold up, I know I have my doubts, but I want to fade back into your memory, your memory, your memory. Cambridge to Boston, lives in a world she's lost in, victim of compromise. He's staring at her Aberdeen heart, London eyes, Glasgow bones. She's whistling the catacombs, a paradox. He's in love with the statue in a marble block. He's in love with the girl that time forgot. She just shakes her ears. She's falling too far with salt in her scars. Won't let him taste her tears. She's falling too far. The girl that time forgot. Wasted She just shakes her ears. She's falling too far with salt in her scars. Won't let him taste her tears. She's falling too far. The girl that's out for You let her go, catacombs. You let her go, let her go, catacombs. You let her go. She just shakes her ears. She's falling too far with salt in her scars. Won't let him taste her tears. She's falling too far.
Alrighty, welcome and good evening. I am TB Ham and we bring you semifinal number 1 of 2 for CSL Season 3. This has been it's been an interesting few months for the CSL, to say the least. As soon as a lot of things happened, we weren't able to get a lot of casters, a lot of people going back to school at this time of the year. Just weren't able to get some casting done that we really wanted to do, so it's been a little while since we've been able to get anything in, but I've found a way to make this work and get the semifinals casted and the finals casted at least. At least that is my hope. While it is actually technically right now it is 2 p.m. on Tuesday. I'm not sure when this cast is going to be going live and actually broadcast, but we're doing this now and then broadcasting it at a later time just to make sure it does get done. At least give our players a little bit of the credit that they do deserve. Our first semifinal is going to be RuSh versus Baloo. It's the only one we have right now. The other one's actually finished, so far as I know. I just don't have the results from that just yet. So going to be casting RuSh versus Baloo tonight. Without too much more wasting of time, going to go ahead and get into our first game, which is going to be on Coda. And spawning up here down here, I guess, in the bottom right, in green from Team Unrivaled, our Terran player. This is RuSh. And his opponent in the top left in orange, our Zerg player from Amon's Rejects. This is Baloo. Both these players are actually pretty new to the CTL itself. I think Baloo was around a little bit last season. It's when he came on last season, playing, I'm pretty sure, for Guns N' Roses. Then he joined the split off of Amon's Rejects, and he's just been he's been absolutely tearing things apart this season. He's one of the top players in the league. I know he did get his promotion to Masters pretty early on in this season, I think, but it was at least after his 100th game, so he is still wrecking face in Diamond, thanks to the new rules that we have making that possible. So it's nice to see him still playing, and he is here in the semifinals. His opponent, RuSh, on the other hand, he was in the CTL seasons ago. It's been a pretty long time. I'm not sure exactly how long. I want to say like season 7 or 8 or so, maybe even before that. RuSh was in the league for a little bit of time. He's left for a while, and he's come back to Starcraft, and he joined Team Unrivaled, and he's been doing pretty well for himself. So, congrats to him making it this far. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we were in the same group for the round of 32, and I did end up beating him, so I can hold that over his head at least. Baloo, I think I maybe have taken one map off of him ever. He's very, very good in ZVZ. He's one of those players in the CTL where there's a lot of Zerg players in the CTL, and if you can play ZVZ pretty well, you're going to get pretty far, and Blue has proven that time and time again. He is going up for a ZVT here in this matchup, but yeah, he's a really solid all-around player. Again, seeing how well he's been doing this season alone, it's obvious that he's not just going to be relying on, you know, lucking into a ZVZ all the time to just show off his playstyle in that regard. So ZVT here, one of the best matchups in StarCraft. It's just been that way for all of StarCraft 2, even through all of the ridiculous balance issues that there's always been. ZVT has been one of the most exciting matchups to watch. So a best of 5 here between our two players should be a lot of fun. Both players, well, Baloo did expand pretty quickly. He did go that hatch pool, and then he got on his gas a little bit later, so speed is going to be a little bit ways away. We do have a single Reaper on the way over. Queen's going to be pretty... It's going to be a little bit of time before the Queen actually comes on out, so this Reaper is going to have free reign. He's going to be able to see that the gas is here, click on that gas, see exactly how much he has actually mined. Wait for him to get... Probably he's going to wait until he gets to that 100 gas mine, and then see if he stays in gas. Well done by Baloo. They're not losing this first drone, making sure to turn that into a spore crawler, and actually... RuSh is going to pop on back here. He sees the cancel. He wants to go hunt that one drone. There it is. It's down in the bottom. Actually, a pseudo surround there by drones. One of the drones does die off, so Reaper does get one kill, and didn't quite see that the gas is still being mined here by Baloo. Two Reapers here are going to pop up and just be a little bit of an annoyance to that Queen, but not much else coming out of them. It was only 2 Reapers, not 3. We do have this command center and a factory coming here for RuSh. No surprise, but there is a second gas and actually an engineering bay of all things coming from RuSh. So that's intriguing. We'll go with intriguing. I'm not sure if he's just he may just be wanting to go with like a +1. He is getting some Marines here rather than, you know, switching this factory over directly onto the reactor to get a bunch of Hellions out or something. So he could, I guess, be going for some sort of weird +1 attack push, something like that. Or maybe he's just really, really afraid of Mutalisks. Who knows? Have to wait and see just a little bit longer. I mean, with this second gas from a Terran player this early, you would really expect to be seeing Banshees, but it's not quite going to be the case. And so I'm not really sure what... well, he's going to have a lot of gas for a long time, and he's not using any of it. I mean, he's got 2 Marines at a time coming out in a factory and engineering bay done, but really nothing else to speak of. He started to wall off a little bit over here. He is still being really annoying with these Reapers. Let's see if we got more kills on that. One Reaper's about to go down, but he is going to go ahead and escape, but not much has been lost here. Just a single drone, and that is it here. Lost by Baloo. Balin is coming down here for a Zerg player and a starport at the same time over on the other side of the map for RuSh. So still waiting to see RuSh do something actually useful with his gas. I mean, he's up to 300 gas in the bank already and hardly any minerals. So just a little bit of sloppy play out of his opener there. Maybe he had some sort of obvious plan and it got a little bit thrown off. Maybe worrying a little too much about these Reapers scattering around. He's still looking around. He's actually seen the third base. He hasn't seen that the third actually exists, and he hasn't seen the Baneling nest either, so that could be a bit of an issue. And all these lings popping out now, the Reapers should all die off here in a second. There we go. The last Reaper does die off, and that's a lot of Queens. We got 4 Queens. 4 Queens, just 4 Queens, but a lot of lings on the way, so we're going to be seeing some sort of early bust, I guess you could say, out of Baloo. He is still making drones at the same time, and he does have a third base even. It's not like he's got roaches on the way or something like that. It's not something completely all-in, just 6 banelings and a lair being created at his third base of all places. But this is definitely going to be a little bit of a pressure here. 6 banelings on the way here for Baloo. Is it going to be more? Is it going to be less? I mean, they don't have speed, so they can't really do much. A couple more bears coming down here front for RuSh. I mean, RuSh, he doesn't have much, but there's no way that Baloo gets through this, really. Yeah, he's going to crash through, but Widowmine shot will actually go off, and it's going to do a little bit of friendly fire damage, but there we go. All the lings are cleaned up, so 6 banelings for a bunker, a few marines. Not the best of trades, but maybe that puts a little bit of a fear of God into RuSh. And we do see a lot more barracks coming down here. We see the 2 down in the natural base and 2 more in the main, and no 3rd command center here out of our Terran player. So he's gonna have to get some damage done, otherwise he's gonna start falling behind really quickly to this 3rd player who already has his 3rd base on the way. It's already down. It's starting to get saturated. Some drones are trickling on out, and we do see a double drop moving across the map, but the lone baneling just kind of chilling out here does actually scout that. So good job, baneling. You were useful, even though you didn't actually explode or anything. You did scout this was coming. And is there any preparation? No preparation out of Baloo, so he may have actually missed this, but he's seeing it more often with some overlords popping on in. Needs to react to this somehow, because he doesn't really have much over here, and without his Spire and without baneling speed, it's going to be really difficult and annoying to deal with. A couple Widowmines get dropped down. They take out a Queen, actually, and the last Widowmine shot goes down, kills a few of the Zerglings, not too much really there. And these medics are going to have to scoot on out of here, but no detection in this general vicinity right here in Overlord Trinity. Overlord Trinity is an overseer over here, so he will be able to eventually reclaim his mining base, but he's going to have to sacrifice something to these Widowmines. And there's 3 Widowmines. I mean, 3 Widowmines will be able to kill an overseer, so if that happens, it could just be a continued annoyance here for Baloo. Luckily for him, he does have this 3rd hatchery set up, so he is able to continue mining at a pretty good pace. Actually, did he try to drop a changeling? Did that overseer die as I predicted? Yeah, it sure did. So poor overseer, he's dead. So Baloo's going to have to make another one. There we go. 2nd overseer coming on in. Widowmine, this one's about to reload here. It's already got 6 kills. They should all die before they get another shot. It will be kind of close in this last one, but it will go ahead and go down. So Widowmines are cleaned up. Drones returning back to work here in the main base, and Baloo has, well, that was a nice little attack from RuSh. I mean, he has 3 Widowmines. That's all he lost, and he denied mining time for a really long time. Problem being, he still doesn't have a 3rd command center. He doesn't have one started. And if he doesn't do a ton of damage with this push, that is moving out. It's moving out with this only +1 attack right now. +1 armor is on the way. Combat shield's on the way as well, so that's not quite finished. And stem even is still a good, 10-15 seconds off. So if he gets caught out in the middle of the map, especially on creep here, he did a nice job of cleaning up some creep here a few moments ago, but this is a scary situation to be in as a Terran player. You don't have stem, you're on creep, you've only got a couple of Widowmines to help out, and that's a lot of speedlings and a lot of speed banes even that could crash on in here for Baloo. Baloo still hasn't even bothered getting mutas just yet, and he's just going to go clear up some mines with some scouting lings here. There's one more mine back here. I need to take a shot off that Baloo has not quite seen. I think he may have seen the, I don't know what you would call that, the shadow in the dirt, if you will. Making sure he's not going to run into that, because that would be pretty painful for him. There we go. Mutalisks are on the way, but +1/+1 is about to finish here for Baloo as well, and still no stem here for our Terran player. It did just finish up, so he can actually start posturing, even though he's been posturing for a good 30 seconds now. He's going to try and deal with taking his 3rd command center, but that's still, it's not down. 3rd command center hasn't even started anywhere, so far as I'm concerned, and that's really going to be a problem pretty quickly. Baloo, I mean, I guess luckily for RuSh, Baloo hasn't really started +2/+2 at all. He's got very few mutas on the map. He's only got 6 right now and 3 more on the way, so not a huge flock of mutas flying across the map, being super annoying, but once those do get up in numbers, it's probably gonna be a problem here for Baloo, or for RuSh actually. We do see a Overlord being a little cheeky. I think that Overlord may have been spreading creep somewhere else and then just flew into this base and just continued spreading creep. So, you're gonna build a command center, you're not gonna build it right there. That's for sure. RuSh's army is out on the map here, taking out these back rocks. But still, there's a lot of army over here for our Zerg player, and these mutas are not really high in number, but they should be able to take care of, well, this turret. There's nothing over here to really take care of. There's not a mineral line. I'm going to sneak in there, and actually this turret should get at least one kill. Come on, turret, you can do it. There's one kill on the turret. Is he going to get a second one? Not quite. So sad. So sad. But now this actually draws RuSh's entire army back into his main base. So he's pretty worried about some sort of, I don't know, mass mutaplay that really doesn't exist just yet. And there's a lot of turrets that have been thrown down, and more turrets are not command centers, and there's only 8 mutalisks. And he's pretty well stopped at that point. He's kind of continued droning up. He didn't quite get his third base completely saturated just yet, so he's droning a little bit more. I would expect and hope to see a fourth base somewhat soon. We do see RuSh out on the map here in between the third and the natural. This army is coming in from behind, actually going to surround a good chunk of this army, but RuSh does see it, does stem on back to a Widow Mine, takes a nice shot. Banelings are finally deciding to actually connect to something, but that's a whole lot of Terran army that is left over. This Terran army does have +1/+1, a lot of meta support here, and there just wasn't really much here for Baloo. I'm not sure he had a bunch of queens early, but I guess they just weren't injecting because he just gave away his entire army and he's got pretty much nothing. He's making a lot of lings, but a lot of lings are not going to thwart what is in his face right now. The drones actually tried to burrow to save themselves, but they do go down. So 18 drones dead. Muta's coming in to help out against Marines, so this is desperation times here for our Zerg player. He is possibly going to clean this up, but he is losing so much to do it. I guess the one really good thing right now for Baloo is the fact that he does retain his third hatchery. He lost a ton of drones. He lost basically his entire third base worth of drones, so that's pretty bad for him, but he does retain a lot of these mutas, which, as I say that, he's actually losing on the mutas in the middle of the map, and RuSh, he just needs to keep pushing. He's not going for a third base, clearly. He's just making more and more Marines, and he's just going to try to just kill Baloo now and not wait. 2-2 is going to be finishing up here for Baloo shortly, and if that finishes up, that could really turn this fight into the favor of our Zerg player here. A few units getting caught out. Could these mutas snipe this medevac? Not quite. Actually, a Widow Mine shot goes off and kills a pretty good chunk of units. More Widow Mines out in the middle of the map here are getting cleaned up, but now there's just really not much of an army here for our Zerg player. Actually, for either player, is not much of an army. 49 army supply to 23. It is in favor of our Terran player, but once this production cycle does hit for Baloo, and I think he really needs to start focusing on getting these injects up. These queens all have so much energy. He doesn't really have, well, the money right now, considering he lost his entire third base worth of economy to be continually remaking like this. And right now he's fighting with just straight up lings. And yeah, they have 2-2 against just the 1-1 on the Terran player, but it's not going to be nearly enough to deal with just the numbers of Marines here. Marines in small numbers, but well, Baloo looks like he will be able to clean this up for now. And that's a good sign for our Zerg player. At least cleaning that up forces RuSh to back off for a little bit of time. Now the arm supplies are slowly creeping closer and closer here. We do see 30 lings in production at a time for Baloo, so he's just trying to make that happen. He's got a ton of gas, and we do actually see the infestation pit. I'm not sure if he's going to be trying to make infestors to just have something he can use, throw all this gas at, or what, but I don't know if he's going to hive on basically 2 bases mining, and that's about it. I want to say there's probably a hotkey problem because this one queen has been running around a ton trying to actually inject a lot of hatcheries all by herself. I mean, we do see all these queens with so much energy. I just can't spend the money. He doesn't have the money to spend to continually produce right now. Even so, he doesn't have really much larva. He's actually going to be going into hive. I mean, you've seen the larva count, barely anything there banked up, especially at this point in the game. You want to have something. You want to have something in the coffers to deal with these remaxes if you're going to be trying to remax like this. And the longer this game goes on with this kind of slow petering of units coming out here for Baloo, probably the better for RuSh, because RuSh is eventually going to even up on his upgrades. His third base is down, and he has started to mine from that, so he's got that going for him as well. But a bit of a problematic situation here for both players. Neither one of them are really in a comfortable spot. We see this hive coming in over at the third base, and again, with only 3 bases. There's not a 4th hatchery. It's not even a 4th, well, there is a 4th hatchery in the main base, but no 4th hatchery down at a mining location. Some Marines going to be picked up over here, just kind of left to die, and And it looks like Baloo is just wanting to overrun his opponent with just a ton of lings and banelings. He's got nothing else to worry about. In his composition, he's completely given up on Mutalisks. He still has 2,000 some odd gas in the bank. There's a couple of burrowed banelings here, and if those were actually get a shot off, that'd be amazing. Are there any more burrowed banelings? I don't think so. Wouldn't mind starting to burrow here, but don't quite get down in time. There is one burrowed bane. Is he going to get a nice shot off? He should get a nice shot off. Just barely walks away from it. Okay, walk on top of this. Please just walk on top of this. It's just not going to happen. He's just gonna barely avoid these burrowed banes. There's another couple over on this side of the map as well. Is that a creep tumor? That's a creep tumor over there, however. Baloo is trying to make this sneaky burrow play work for him. It's just not quite helping him out the way he wants to. He may want to reposition these two banes over to this location, so the Marines, when they actually run up this corner, they actually would get hit. And it's looking like Baloo is going to try to set up a surround here, if he's able to at least. Coming from both locations. No, he's just going to come from straight up the front. There's barely any banes right now. There's only 23 banes and mostly lings out in front here. Banes are rolling on in, but they're so far behind the actual engagement. Widowmine goes off and kills a ton of lings, and at this point there's really not much left over here for Blue. He's got some Banes rolling in from behind, but Marines are pretty much completely off creep, and they're trading pretty well against us. But of course, at the same time, there was a pretty massive run by over the third base that did kill off a lot of the SCVs over here for RuSh. And despite having hardly anything tech related, Baloo is going to be coming out on top of this engagement. Especially the run by in that bottom left that I completely ignored. Very nice for our Zerg player. Taking out the economy of the Terran. The only thing that was really keeping RuSh in this game was the fact that he was still technically on even basis. Losing 10 SCVs the way he did. I mean, look at the worker count now, 52 to 34. Fourth hatchery is finally started here for Baloo over in a location that's actually next to a hatchery. But his army supply is just so low, 86 to 31 army supply right now. Baloo needs to back off, and I really wish he would just turn every single ling that comes out into a baneling. He's got a ton of gas, and without Banes, I don't know what he's planning on being able to do. These Banes, once again, they're so close to actually doing something useful, but not quite happening. 3 mines right out front. Nicely placed there for RuSh. Nice splits. Actually, the 3 mines get taken out by those Banes, so really well done there by Baloo. But RuSh, he's not going to just sit back and wait for Baloo to max. He's moving forward. Couple Banes. Those Banes that were burrowed do reposition, but they're not really helping out in this main engagement. There's a nice little number of Banes on the right side over here just waiting, but they're going to get seen and probably taken out by a few Marines. And the Marines, I think they have +3 armor. No, not quite. +2/+2 on those Marines, and now Baloo is in a world of trouble right now. He's got pretty much no army supply, and he's got nothing but lings and no time to make a ton of banelings to actually deal with this. And it's looking like RuSh is going to be able to take this first game here, which, not gonna lie, would be a start of an upset. Baloo is definitely the expected victor in this series, but RuSh is showing he's not really afraid. I'm not sure if Baloo was really aware of the kind of playstyle that RuSh plays. Realize that, hey, he's not actually going to make a third base, so maybe I should make some army units instead of not making army units. I think Baloo just didn't keep an eye on his opponent's economy, and if he had done so, he would have been in a much better position to thwart whatever was coming at him, rather than being surprised by how much army RuSh just kept throwing at him over and over and over. I'm going to change some settings here before we get into game number 2. Game number 2, I do believe, is on Iron Fortress. I will confirm that in a moment. And we'll get into game 2 here. Yes, it is on Iron Fortress, so game 2 coming up here shortly as it does load up. Once again, this is CSL Semifinal number 1 here for Season 3 between RuSh and Baloo, loading into map number 2. It's going to be on Iron Fortress. Man, that loading bar is such a tease. It goes like 80% and then just stops. There we go. We are into our game here, and spawning in the bottom left. The victor of our first map from TeamUR Unrivaled, our green Terran player. This is RuSh. And his opponent in the bottom right. In orange are Zerg from Amon's Rejects. This is Baloo. So, game 2. Much larger map here. Kodo was really easy for the Terran player to figure out, attack paths, know exactly where he wanted to be, and get over there quickly. As the main thing in that last game was RuSh being able to reinforce as quickly as it did. Despite the fact that this is a very large map, RuSh got pretty decent spawn positions, spawning or horizontal like he did here. It is, I think, I'm not sure if it's faster than vertical or not. It's hard to tell. Ironforge is such a strange map, just because of the way the pathing works in the middle. Units take really strange paths to get across, and these actually just like across. Going this direction is very strange for units. For some odd reason, they don't want to path correctly through the middle of the map. But still, this is rather close. It could have been cross map completely, which maybe would have worked in Baloo's favor. I don't know. Baloo looked like he was going for a super macro game, but then did that really weird opening 6 Baneling bust that did damn near nothing. So probably the same sort of play coming out of Baloo here. Whether or not he's going to go for something like a 3-hatch opening, since it is a bit of a larger map, or not. RuSh did open the Reaper, and he's going to be opening Reapers again here in this game. So I wouldn't really recommend going 3-hatch. And actually, there we go, a gas first out of Baloo after his initial hatchery. So hatch gas into pool. This could just be just wanting to get a quick speed, or he could be focusing on a little bit later, going for a quick 2-base lair into Mutalisk if you wanted to do that. RuSh's SCV does scout this, does see that, hey, gas is down, pool's a bit late. He didn't actually see that the natural's there, but you gotta assume it's going to be there. And surely he's going to walk down there here in a couple seconds and see the fact that there is actually the natural down there. And actually, I'm sure if it's a bit of a fake. No, he's just looking. Blue is just a little bit worried about some sort of bunker coming down here in the back or something like that, since RuSh wasn't scouting this natural base. He wanted to make sure they didn't actually have something surprising hiding and waiting behind his main base there, or behind his natural base. First Reaper on the way, first Queens on the way as well. 2 Queens will be coming out by the same time, but once again, this Reaper's going to have a little bit of free time here in the main base to just poke around and be an annoyance. We do see speed here out of Baloo, and he does he pulls 2 drones off of gas, still 1 in gas. There you go, just pull the 3rd one off of gas too, so he just wanted to get that speed up really quickly. Now she's going to start pulling drones, try to catch this Reaper, but RuSh is paying enough attention, so that's a pretty big win there already for RuSh. I mean, it's very slight, it's very early in the game, it's not going to matter that much, but any little advantage you can get in the early game is nice. Feelings you pop out, going to shoo away this Reaper. Second one's going to be joining it, but with Queens actually here now, Baloo should be just finding it. This is actually, if these Reapers could pop in and snipe this creep drum, they're really nice, but just going to chill out for a couple of seconds. Oh, they're going to see it and be like, wow, we could have killed that. We could have killed that so easily. And if we were in Legacy of the Void, they could throw down their little grenades and kill the creep tumor. I think it takes like 5 grenades or something stupid to actually kill one, but hey, it's something. Right? And that is a very early bathing nest out of Baloo. He did put back into gas, and he is, I would rather, yeah, there goes. I was going to say, I would really rather he keep these lings right on this ledge to make sure the Reapers don't pop in and see this bathing nest. At the very least, you want to force your opponent to waste a scan to see this. And given that this command center's just now finishing here for his natural, he's not going to have a lot of scans to be using. He does have energy. He's going to have energy for 1 here in a moment. And actually, he's lifting off and moving down to the natural before even turning it to an orbital. So the energy is going to be lower even still. Speed has finished. The Reapers did see the speed, and they did see it by dying for their country, I suppose. And there we go. Baneling's already on the way. We got 6. So this is, again, a small little bust here for Baloo, but this is much more intentional this game. Last game, it seemed like Baloo was like, hey, I've got some gas. I've got some units on the map. Why not pretend I'm going to bust? This time he's got a ton of lanes coming around. Pokestar with a couple of those. I'm not sure if that was intended or if he just kind of just rallied them incorrectly. But more and more bangs being morphed in, so this is going to be a very powerful bust, and not much here. There is a single Widow Mine, but if that Widow Mine's able to be taken out, and it looks like he's trying to bait some sort of Widow Mine shot, but he's smartly using these Banes. He doesn't want to get... Oh god, that Widow Mine shot. Not the best of Widow Mine shots, actually. That could have been a lot better. The Widow Mine managed to split off and go to the left side of the army of Baloo there, which didn't really kill all that much. Killed probably 5 or 6 lings, but could have been a lot worse. And Baloo ends up taking out that Widow Mine with probably 2 or 3 Banelings exploding on top of that. So the natural has been evacuated here. 4 more bangs being morphed in here at the bottom. I think it only takes 4 to take out reactor. So if he clicks directly on this reactor, he's going to take the reactor, he's going to take both these supply depots at the same time. I think he might need 1 more Baneling though. I'm not sure if it's just 4 or not, especially if one of them gets sniped off, but he's going to go for that reactor, and yeah, it is at least 1 more, but everything there is burning, and no repairs coming down here for RuSh. He's going to try and get there, but not quite going to get there. The last one, which does go off, but now he's fighting with his workers. He's got a bunker finish, so he can perhaps hold on for a little while longer, but looking like pretty dire straits right now for our Zerg player, for our Terran player, and he does go ahead and tap out here in game number 2. So Baloo will even up the series there with a quick Baneling bust. What was that? 6-7 minute Baneling bust. So series is even up 1-1. Getting into game 3 here in a little bit, as I decide to choke on absolutely nothing. So, our third game is going to be on Terraform, another, well, slightly newer map that is rather interesting. At least I would say it's rather interesting. It's an awkward layout, and I hate playing on it. I always hated playing on it. I haven't played Starcraft in probably a month and a half, but I hated playing on it because it was just strange, and it didn't work out in my favor pretty much ever. I struggled in ZVZ, and it was even worse for me in ZVZ because, I don't know, the pathing is just so strange, but we'll get into just a little bit, introducing our players here. In the bottom right in green, our Terran player from TeamUR, this is RuSh. And as opponent in the top left for in orange from a Monster Rejects, this is Baloo. Nice drone stacking going on there on the close mineral patches, so good job by Baloo to get that, just those slight advantages that make you can feel them if you're used to mineral stacking and you have a game where you don't, it just doesn't work out for you. The game feels different. The early game feels so completely different. You feel like your timings are completely off. Nothing comes down when you think it's supposed to come down. And you're supposed to have enough minerals at a certain point, and it just doesn't happen because you didn't get those stacks done. But as I was saying with the pathing on this map, it's just very awkward to put a killing blow onto your opponent. Because even if you are across the map with a large army, their army can just walk across the map on the completely other side and go and put the hurt onto you at the same time. So it can make for a weird sort of base race situation sometimes if your army, say, comes from the north side here. Meanwhile, his army has moved down the south, and you've completely missed each other. So map vision is absolutely crucial to have in this map. A lot of Terran players, you'll see them just send Marines down in these different pathing locations. Send a Marine down here and here and here and here and here. You just have to have eyes on absolutely everything. The same for a Zerg. Just getting creep spread on this map can be a bit of an annoyance because these line of sight blockers that are just absolutely everywhere on this map. First off, I'm right next to the rocks here. These collapsible rocks. You can't just have a tumor here and then lay another tumor on this side. It just doesn't happen. You can't do it. So you have to send either a unit or another queen down there if you've got one available to actually spread creep through this middle section. And if you're doing that, then maybe you're ignoring this southern location and all these line of sight blockers on the other side. And then once you get into the middle, there's another line of sight blocker up here. There we are. Had to go find it. Another line of sight blocker, so you have to pay attention to that to be able to spread creep past it. But it is so worth it if you're able to, because again, having that vision, having that pathing on this map is so necessary. Knowing where your opponent is coming from, where he is going, how he's going to be attacking you exactly is very crucial on this map. We do see A little bit of a different look here from RuSh, only going for a single Reaper. He's been going for at least 2 in the game so far, but just going for the one. He did get in with an SCV, and he scouted that this was this gas first once again here for Baloo, so speed should be coming down pretty shortly here from Baloo, and actually it's just going to be a bunker. He's like, hey, deal with a bunker. Maybe you're going to pull a lot of drones to deal with that. Maybe not. We do see this is spine collar being made there just to. I'm not sure if he's going to keep that there. He's gonna, if he wanted to, he was sending that drone down on purpose. So I think he wanted to make a spine collar by the bunker itself. He is trying to get a queen down there, but the bunker does finish before he's able to snipe off the SCV or anything. But he's going to want to probably go for the SCV itself before anything else. There he goes. He is trying to get to that. Bunker is going to just stay alive for a little bit of time. It's just so annoying. I mean, the Reaper doesn't do that much damage, so it's not a huge deal. It is quite annoying, especially this time at this stage of the game. And actually, another SCV moving across the map, and 2 Marines are moving across the map as well. So this isn't just a feigned little attack. He wants to make this happen, but I don't think the SCV is going to get there in nearly enough time. This bunker is just about dead. It's already on fire, and there it goes. Burning it, he's going to try and salvage it. He should get the salvage off. Actually, I think if this queen would have kept attacking, he would have been able to keep the salvage from happening, but not quite. So RuSh had a good plan there, just did not quite work out in his favor. He does have a good amount of Marines out early, so that's nice for him, I suppose. But we do see a Roach Warren down already here for Baloo. Lair on the way as well. There's an Evo chamber even, so I'm not sure if he's gonna be just going for a carapace upgrade. Go for something like that. Make it a little bit more difficult for his units to actually die off, and go for some sort of bust with some roaches and maybe just speedlings. Or if that were maybe a misclick. Nope, there we go. +1 attack coming out from this Evo chamber. Barely any drones actually out on the map here for his player. 25 drones to 21. Already have an upgrade on the way. Already got roach speed on the way as well. With these 2 gases, he's definitely going to want to put on some pressure as soon as he possibly can. I would assume once +1 attack finishes and that speed is finished as well, roach speed is finished as well, we should be seeing something from Baloo on the other side of the map. Baloo did end up and go ahead and get the circling speed as well. You can see the reasoning for that. He is getting his Bailey Nest as well. So this is going to be a really hefty bust coming from our Zerg player. We do have double tech labs here for RuSh. So despite he hasn't really actually seen the Roach Warren just yet, which I assume he may see pretty soon, he's going to have the option to make Marauders pretty quickly. Though he is still, once again, choosing to go heavy Marines and Widow Mines and try and deal with whatever's thrown at him with those units rather than anything else. I mean, so far we haven't seen Baloo play anything but Bling Bling. He went for the bust in game number 2, and he went for that kind of pseudo bust in game number 1, which just didn't work out. He did go into mutas in that game, but those didn't work out either. So roaches, this is going to be the first time we're going to see roaches here out of Baloo. I'm pretty sure he's more often going to be playing the Lean Bling, but a little bit of a different look here. We do see Baneling speed on the way as well. 4 roaches, only 4 roaches. We've got 14 Lings on the way. It's just, there's not much gas here for our Zerg player. He's only got the 2 gases rolling. He's making a 3rd gas here at his natural base. He's got Burrow on the way as well. I'm not sure if that's just going to be to try and annoy RuSh a little bit, maybe keep this 3rd base from landing for a little bit extra time, or if he wants to use that once again for some hopeful Baneling landmines. You can see that little of an issue with getting past this line of sight blocker for Baloo here. He did have to send the Ling on the other side of the grass just to make sure he could actually see past it and get some creep spread going that direction. Was a little bit of a hindrance to him, and actually he is trying to avoid where RuSh's army might be, and it's going to work out pretty well for him, because RuSh is setting his army up north, and everything for Baloo is down here on the other side. This is going to be probably an awkward situation. It depends on how RuSh decides to play. Once he sees this, it's not that big of an army here for Baloo. Once he sees it next to his base, is he going to turn around with his army? He's going to keep attacking. Same thing here for Baloo. It looks like Baloo's actually going to go back home and try to defend against this attack. He's got enough creep, and he's going to be coming in from behind this army. There's no stem just yet. Stem is going to be still 10 seconds away, so he can get up to it pretty quickly. but he needs to be able to try and keep this hatchery alive, which he should be able to do. Without Stim, these Marines are in a world of trouble. There we go. Most of those do go down. Baneling's rolling on in and killing off most, if not all. Okay, he did kill all those. Duh. A couple Widow Mines shots do go off, and actually now there's a medevac. There's a couple Widow Mines on the map, and there's very, very little on the ground here for RuSh. Baloo is not going to just let RuSh sit back home. He's going to start attacking. He sees one bunker, but that's really all there is. He was going for a single supply depot, but now he's going back for the bunker. He needs to kill something because the SCVs are coming to repair. There they go. Bunker does go down, and a depot as well. And now there's actually a pretty good number of roaches here against just pure Marines. The roaches do have +1 against 0-0 of the Marines. There is a single medevac, but roaches are gonna they're gonna fare just fine against them without any sort of heavy, not artillery technically with a tank or anything, but without marauders even to help fend off these roaches. RuSh is in a pretty rough spot right now. He's even pulling SCVs right now to try and deal with this. He doesn't have much left. There's a single Widow Mine back here. He's waiting for that shot to go off, and he's actually going to kill or at least damage some of his own SCVs. Roaches are starting to die off here at the front, but the reinforcements are just rolling on in here for Baloo, and he is now into the natural base. And once he starts taking down all these SCVs, that may spell the end of the game here for RuSh. RuSh lifting the command center at the natural base. At 13 minutes, that's not really where you want to be in a game, obviously. And it's looking like Baloo is going to take the lead here in this series. He's actually pretty wisely just backing off right now. Did he burrow anything underneath that? No, he didn't. I thought he was. I figured he's got burrow. You may as well burrow something underneath this command center to keep from landing, but he decided to do it. He's actually just going to back off and get more ahead for a while, I suppose. He is going into Hydralisks. He is getting his +1 carapace now. Did he get +2 attack? He did get +2 attack for the ranged units as well, so he's got that going for him. He's got a lot of things going for him, really. I mean, 52 workers to 25. No third command center even started yet. And obviously, the third is being controlled by this overload over here. Most of the army for RuSh had died off during those attacks, and it's not like Baloo turned around when he had no army. Baloo turned around and he still had an army out front. He just didn't have anything that could actually bust up the ramp, so he didn't feel it necessary, and he's quite right about that. He's going to go back home, just back her up for a little bit longer, and probably attack once he gets a pretty hefty supply lead. He is pretty heavily supply locked right now. 7 overlords popping here in a few moments, so he's going to get past that. Does he have much larva? He's got 16 larva too, so he just needs to start making units, start having the money to make units. I mean, making 7 overlords at once is probably going to hamper your unit production for a little while. RuSh going to try to get himself back into this game through drop play, and well, there's not much here to defend. There's a couple queens back here. The overlords are going to spot this little medevac force coming in. There's nothing but Marines. Actually, might be some Widow Mines in here. I'm not necessarily sure. No, just Marines, and without any upgrades. There is +1. +1 armor is about to finish up the Marines, but just so much here for Baloo. He's quick on the reaction there, getting some of his army back to deal with that. And he's even going to make 2 Spore Collars rather than leaving any of his army supply back home to deal with it. A lot of times you either see this static defense, or you see a Zerg player will just cordon off a portion of their army to try and deal with drops. Just lead them back home and deal with drops that way. But now Baloo is getting aggressive here. He's going to look to kill off RuSh, and RuSh is preemptively pulling all of his SCVs here, or not all of his SCVs, but a lot of his SCVs to repair, realizing where his opponent's going to attack. He's attacking this little side depot, try to get through that. Not quite going to work. There's a few Banelings here. By a few, I mean 7. So he's got some Banes to try and push on through if he wanted to. He's even spreading creep with some overloads over here, so give himself a little bit more mobility if he wants it. And again, Baloo is contented to sit and wait for more of his army. We do have a tank on the way here for RuSh. Does he have any other tanks out? No, he doesn't. A lot of bunkers being made by RuSh, but at this point it's kind of a situation where he's got to have something happen, and Bane's going to roll on in. That's a lot of army here for our Terran player, and not much here for Baloo, and Stemmed Bio does a pretty good job against clumped up Roach Hydra, and there's even a tank back there now to deal with this, so I think once again Baloo is going to have to back off for a while. Yeah, Baloo's going to sit here, and I would like to see him take a 4th base rather quickly, just to make sure he can actually finish off this game. He doesn't want to lose everything. He's going to try to pounce on a couple medevacs that got a little bit too happy. I think actually RuSh just killed one of his own medevacs. on accident. Actually, RuSh is stepping out here. I'm not really sure why he bothered doing that. He doesn't need to do that. He's got a tank. He's in a nice defensive position. Yeah, he needs to get a third, but it's not like he's got a third command center started or finished or anything. He needs to build up an army. He needs to wait for his army. Be patient. Eventually, you can probably crush this army, but not if you're going to keep siphoning off portions of your army by moving forward like that. Russia is going to lose some depots here, so he is quite supply blocked at the moment, and he doesn't have money even to make anything. He's put so much. He put all of his money into army. He's got nothing left to actually, build with. 140 minerals, 1,400 gas. Rough spot here for our Green Terran player. He does have a single tank. Does he have a second? He's got a second one on the way. I thought he might have a third tank, but only 2 tanks right now, and he's trying to get out here on the map, trying to take a little bit of presence back, but basically whenever Baloo decides he wants to max out, which basically relies on Baloo deciding he wants to stop getting supply blocked and just make units, he can start trading. And once he's able to start trading with this base lead, I mean, he's got his 4th hatchery on the way. Once he starts trading with this base lead, he's going to be in a pretty good position. Dealing with the tanks is going to be a little bit of an annoyance, but again, with the numbers just so massively in his favor, he should be okay if he just wants to micro up against those tanks. But he's content to just sit back and kind of let it happen. There he goes. He is moving forward, snipe off one tank. Shows one of the tanks in the back, but just the numbers here are so in favor of Baloo, and he does have +2/+2 finished as well. There we go. Last tank goes down. There's four bunkers here. That's nice. There's a few SCVs to repair those bunkers, but actually the SCVs are attacking. They're not repairing. And this is looking like it's going to spell the end here in game number 3 for RuSh. So we go GG out of him, and Baloo will take a 2-1 lead here in this series. Map 4. I can't remember what map 4 is. It's a map. It's in the pool. It's Cactus Valley. I knew it. Totally. Right? So, Baloo, he played a different style every game pretty much. Just slightly different. Games 1 and 2 were pretty similar, but 2 was obviously a much more aggressive Bane bust. Game 3 there was kind of a similar bust with just a few Banes and Roaches, but it's really smart decisions, just backing off when he needed to, not getting super impatient and getting that, I smell blood, I want to kill you now, and losing your entire army, and giving RuSh in a way to get back in the game. Because if Baloo had lost his army when he was over on the other side of the map at that point, and we saw the 2 medevacs from RuSh, if those go across the map and they don't have much to deal with on the other side of the map inside of Baloo's main, a game could turn out completely differently. But as it stands, we are here in a game number 4 in this best of 5 series. Spawning up here in the top left, he is down to his last life, our Green Terran player from Team Rival. This is RuSh. And his one in the bottom left from Amon's Rejects, our orange Zerg player. This is Baloo. As the Overlord pops right on the camera. Good job, Overlord. You wanted your time in the lights, and you just got it. So game 4 of the best of 5 series. At this point, RuSh, he can't play cute. He's got to play the style that wins him games. He can't try something new. And if he does, he may not be as versed in it as he wants to be, and so he makes one mistake, and then it's just all downhill from there. So I would really expect to see RuSh play, well, I was going to say play really standard, but he might be just going CC first here, which I think is not a bad decision. Cactus Valley being a very large map. They didn't spawn cross again, so a little bit of bad luck there. The second Overlord for Blue is going to be coming up into Scout, so RuSh is going to luck out a little bit with this CC first. And if he's able to get away with it, he should have a nice little lead going into the mid-game. But Baloo, if Baloo just blindly goes that gas first, which he's not going to be doing, so never mind. We've still seen Baloo go for a bust off of a pool and then into gas. But if Baloo just goes through hatch himself, never mind, there's the gas. So a lot of options available here for Baloo once he scouts. Once he scouts, this was a CC first. What is he going to do? Is he going to try and just power up into 2 base? go for his own third base, maybe take a fourth just to be ridiculous? Does he just go for a quick bust? Maybe just getting enough gas to get a baneling nest, get that started, and just foregoing speed, just going a ton of banelings, or go super quick roaches, anything at all. And actually, that's interesting. 2 gases here on 18 supply for RuSh. I know a long time ago there was a CC first build that relied on getting 2 gases and then going into Hellbat drops. But that's been a few years since that was relevant. So to see what RuSh decides to do with these 2 gases. I mean, right now he's only got 6 SCVs and gases, which leads, I mean, it doesn't leave that much actually mining minerals right now. And yeah, you're going to have extra mules because you went CC first, but it's a frightening prospect to go for that much gas when you have so little mineral economy. Overlord has now popped on into the main base of RuSh, and actually there is a Marine that's going to push this away, but Baloo does see that it was CC first, but, well, Baloo's going to lose an Overlord for his troubles. At least I'm pretty sure he's going to lose an Overlord for his troubles. He should lose that Overlord. So what's the response from Baloo? He is getting speed. He is staying in gas. So we're going to see the baneling nest. 50 gas here is coming up in just a couple moments. Is it going to be a bane nest? Is he going to go for a bust? Is he going to go for a quick lair, even? When a Terran player goes for a quick CC, it's often difficult to deal with quick mutas. Simply because you're going to have to rely on either a lot of Marines or the hope that you scout and get an engineering up. Because at this point of the game, RuSh is going to want to be doing pretty much nothing but making SCVs, getting an economy lead, and actually getting that rolling. I mean, you see it right now. 27 drones to 21 SCVs. RuSh hasn't really picked up a lead from this just yet. There we go. Baneling nest is down here, the natural for Baloo. He did get a lair as well. No third hatchery just yet for our Zerg player. Without a third hatchery, it's rather frightening. And RuSh going for a third command center. Has he scouted anything? He's scouted the fact that the natural hatchery is there. And that's about it. And again, RuSh has a lot of gas. You saw this in game 1. RuSh ended up banking a lot of gas, a lot of gas, to the point where you would expect to see Banshees or something very tech heavy coming out. But it's 150 minerals with almost 500 gas already for RuSh. I guess he's gonna be trying to go maybe for mech here. Depends on what he decides to make out of this barracks. We do see factory making 2 Hellions at a time here. The barracks could be making the tech lab just for the starport, just to get some Banshees out. Is he going to lift that? We'll wait and see. But baneling speed on the way here for Baloo. He's already got a lot of lings out here. I mean, it's not a lot. It's about 20-some lings, but it's still a good number at this point of the game. Third hatchery is coming up here for our Zerg player. So he is matching pace with RuSh on command centers and hatcheries, and we do see a Banshee finally, but getting to a point where at this point in the game RuSh is almost at 1,000 gas banked. So a little bit of trouble there for our Terran player, using the gas that he has, and he's even got 2 extra gas here in the naturals. So I've got to assume at this point that he is going mech. And it's very easy for a Terran player going back to suddenly have no gas, because you get your infrastructure up and then suddenly you don't have any gas and you can't do anything about it. Baloo gets in here and he sees their command center and he's seeing all these gases, so he's got to know that it's probably going to be mech at this point. He saw the tech lab and he saw all that, and he didn't really see the Banshee come out necessarily, but he probably realizes that it is there. He's making spore collars in each of his bases here, so he's going to be just fine on defending that. And he's even got the lair done anyway, so he can go ahead and make an overseer to deal with that, deal with any Banshees with just his queens. This isn't the worst of positions here for RuSh to be going mech. It is easy just to kind of creep and leapfrog all the way from your own base to your opponent's base, giving these spawn positions in this map, just the map layout itself. But Well, let's wait and see what Baloo has to do, because he's at the moment he is still just going ling bling. It seems he's got +1 attack coming for his melee units. Nothing else beyond that. We do see a Spire coming up, and I mean, Spire is going to be pretty easily countered here by RuSh once he sees it. Throw down a couple tech labs, get a couple of Thors, throw down an engineering bay, get some safety turrets in your mineral lines around your production. You'll be just fine against that. So eventually, all of this gas for RuSh is going to look really nice. Actually, all these lanes popping on in here and running into a ton of Hellions, and at this point, I feel bad for Baloo. I don't know why how he didn't see this coming, but he's going to be trying to deal with mech and a ton of Hellions with just ling bling at this moment. The Spire is going to be finishing up here shortly, so he could get some mutas out to deal with pretty much this entire army very easily, but until that time, he's going to have to find a way to get a nice surround on all these Hellions with his lings, and then hopefully kill them off with some Banelings. Here we go. See 2 Thors coming out at a time here for RuSh. So he's sitting just fine against the Spire play that is coming. And actually, the Raven production has started. That's amazing. We're going to see some Ravens. So there goes some gas again, but still, there's just so much gas banked up right now for RuSh. Again, it's going to be great in like 10 minutes when he's got the minerals to back up that gas bank. But it's just going to be still going to be a matter of time. He does have a lot of Hellbats over here, and there's really not much to deal with it. There are some mutas on the way. There's about to be like 9 mutas on the map, I think. I think there's 8. Okay, there's 9 out right now. There's a 10th one that's being created. So that can deal with this army that is out currently. There's not very many Marines there, and he's just gonna go. He's just gonna go for it. He's gonna say, "Hey, I see your army. I see you have nothing that really shoots up except for a few Marines." He's actually gonna get this army completely surrounded, which is gonna be a major problem for RuSh. He's gonna lose his entire army here. Such a cost-effective trade here for a Zerg player. Not even blue flame on these Hellbats, and the army supply just suddenly and instantly swings in the favor of our Zerg player. 2 Thors over here trying to deal with a lot of Banes and Lings. The Thors just take so long to kill, well, anything. And they're gonna try and go after the mutas, but there's enough mutas where they're gonna just surround the Thor. The Thor's gonna go down, and with the Thor dead, there's nothing else to actually help. Yeah, there's an auto turret, which is cool, but now there's gonna be a ton of Lings swinging on in. So a rough engagement there for RuSh has really put this game into Baloo's favor. Being out in the middle of the map like that with what seemed like pretty much no vision. Was a rough choice there for RuSh. I mean, these mutas are all pretty hurt, and a few of them are going to die to this Thor, but there's just nothing. There's a couple mutas over there in the third base, and there we go. GG from RuSh, sort of. And that is going to be it here for the semifinal. Baloo will move on to the round, well, the final. Not the round of anything, it's the final. He's moving on to the final. So congrats to Baloo for that. He will be facing the winner of Sin Prime and Picker, which will hopefully be able to do relatively soon. Assuming I can get those replays from him. I did ask the players to send me those. I guess they finished at some point. I'm not sure when they finished, but neither of them bothered to actually tell me that they finished. So we'll hopefully get that done into you cast as soon as possible, but for now that is going to be all for this evening. Once again, this has been the CSL Season 3 Semifinal number 1. Baloo will move on, so congrats to him, and again he will be facing off against either Sim Prime or Picker, which well, it could be a ZVZ final or it could be a ZVP final. I'm going to take a guess and say it's ZVZ. Just thinking about Picker and Sim Prime. Picker is another guy who didn't really expect too much of him coming into the CSL season. But then I'm pretty sure he just started playing a ton of Starcraft, and he got really, really good. Now he's an extremely frightening player to deal with. And he's got a good chance of giving Baloo a run for his money, ZVZ related at least. So we'll see that matchup whenever it does come. Until then, thanks for tuning in. Pay attention for whenever the next semifinal will be. Hopefully we'll be announcing that soon. And we'll see you some other time.
Paper at the doorstep, wires on the ground, cats staring out the window, taking over the town, hovering like vultures with frantic wings, can't shake the feeling that someone's watching. And I've been sleeping alone, and I've been eating alone, hiding under the stairs, even though no one's home. And if you're living in the daylight, or living underground, they're sending a message that someone's watching. Someone's watching. Hear the flock of the sirens, watch through the screen. He hatched plots at the supermarket, never crossed the sea. With the cameras hanging on plastic rings, he always had the feeling that someone's watching. And now she's sleeping alone, and now she's eating alone, hiding under the stairs, even though no one's home. And if you're living in the daylight, or living underground, they're sending a message that someone's watching. I don't care if someone's watching. If you're living in the daylight, or living underground, they're sending a message that